What's going on?
What's happening? It's been a minute. How are you?
A minute plus some for sure.
Absolutely. You still slinging houses?
I'm renovating them more than slinging them, but
Love it.
either one is a good thing. Um, what what's new with you? I haven't talked to you in I feel like it might have been 2 years now.
Mhm.
What's the best thing that's happened to you in the last 2 years?
Um, I checked out some international developments this year.
Oh, where at?
Yeah. In Panama
Oh, Panama
and
City.
the
Panama, the
Republic of Panama,
country.
Central
Oh,
America. Yeah.
interesting. Did you actually go there in person?
I did.
Oh,
I did. I've met a couple developers and seen different types of developments, different type of housing structures, different material. It's very different.
interesting. Tell me a little bit, like, how did you get involved going to look at Panama? Why Panama? What does the kind of deal flow look like? Are you going to make something happen there, or kind of what's the full story about it?
Yeah, I'm absolutely in love with Panama. Panama City it's like old architecture style and in the city part, but then they have the Caribbean side where you can do complete development from the ground up, which is totally different than anything I'm seeing. I'm very familiar with the kind of work you do, which is like home renovation, also new construction. I think we've talked about a couple of those projects as well. So going out to, that part, seeing how islands build houses, it's totally different, like cement structure or, steel. It's very unique, very cool.
Yeah. So, are you going to move forward with a deal there, or are you still kind of figuring out if it makes the most sense?
I definitely am going to put some stuff together. We're looking to do either a hotel development or a condo development, like a boutique condo development.
Oh,
So we're putting some things together. But the tourism industry there can definitely sustain it. I see a lot of good tax advantages. Obviously, we're in Illinois. That's my home base. That's where I am now. It's very tax burden, right, for investors or for anyone who's in this industry. So having that ability is really, really nice.
yeah. When you say it creates a good tax burden, like what does that look like exactly? Someone invests in a deal with you, and then you're doing some type of cost segregation, or what exactly does it look like?
So in Panama, you have the ability to, as an investor, not have to pay certain taxes, right? So we don't have to pay import taxes if we, invest there. I believe it's 250 or more at the moment. And then you also don't have to pay property taxes for a certain amount of time. So they have a lot of things that they're doing to draw people in. They also have all different types of visas. The process to get the visa is very simple. I know a lot of people right now are looking for second passports. Just because of the way politics are going, it does affect our market. And so having a place that you can, go check out some things, it definitely helps.
Oh,
But other-
interesting. Did you look at any other potential countries, or was
Yeah,
Panama the main
I'm
one?
checking out in this next year. Obviously, I'll be looking at Costa Rica just because it's so close, just to see how that tourism will affect. I know there's a lot of people that are in Costa Rica and the prices are rising like substantially for cost of living because it's kind of turned into Florida. A lot of people that left, um, the U.S. during COVID to go live somewhere tropical, they ran to Costa Rica, and the prices of everything like went skyrocket. We experienced
Yeah,
that with material and labor costs in Illinois.
yeah.
So, seeing how that price is rising in Costa Rica, I feel like Panama is going to eventually get to that point where the market is going to, is going to rise. So I'm trying to stay ahead of the ball.
That's exciting. Do you know when you may actually end up moving forward, or kind of what's your timeline look like if someone's listening online and they want to invest in Costa Rica or Panama?
Well, I actually started building a house out there.
Oh,
I have a project on my family's land that we're working to finish. It's just a cement build, 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, like kind of vacation home that's right on the border of Costa Rica. So people who are crossing have a place to stay for the night before they have to take another, bus or boat to get to their airport. So I was just like, man, this is a great location. There's really no competition around here. The foot traffic is crazy of how many people are crossing over lately. And people who are in Costa Rica who don't have visas, they have to cross back and forth, to renew that
Mm.
status of, um, their visa. And so it just seemed like it made sense.
Oh, interesting. So you have a little bit of a competitive advantage if you got some family land down in that area, huh?
Yes, 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 yes. So that's
You
been
said,
really exciting.
do you have family members who are living down
I
there or no?
do. I have family members in Guavito as well as Panama City
Oh,
and Boca del Toro.
oh, no way. Yeah, you got to have boots on the
You
ground. That's probably
have to.
one of the most important things you can have investing out of state or out of country is someone you know, like, and trust who's there and knows the ropes.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of my really, really good friends there, her name is Eveline, and she is a civil engineer. She does
Okay.
a lot of structure building for the government. So
Okay.
she does some really cool stuff.
Nice. And okay, that's amazing. I mean, I want to figure out how to buy several second homes somewhere outside the United States. So maybe you might have opened my eyes to a different country than I was looking at before.
Where were you thinking of before?
So when I traveled to Brazil, they have some pretty amazing prices there as well as far as condos go. So
Brazil.
we looked at like a condo in not São Paulo but Rio, and not that far from like Copacabana for like I think it's like 60,000. You could get like a condo USD for one bed, one bath, and not that far from the beach. So I
Love
mean, yeah, those are pretty amazing numbers too. Again, I think until I had some concrete boots on the ground, I don't think I could pull the trigger. But knowing those options are out there are interesting to pursue for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then would you turn that into like a second home and make it a rental, or would you, possibly move there and start a career there, do you think?
No, yeah,
That long
I've
term.
always had the dream of having many houses across the world in different places and making them more of like a midterm stay for family and friends. So I can go and use them for a little bit. I could have family and friends who wants to go and use them for a little bit. Maybe there's another booking site to let people go and use them for a little bit, but not like the short term, but maybe a week plus of staying. And yeah, I want to have 11 or 12 different places all across the world, but nothing fancy. I'm not like a big fancy guy. I'm more of like a two bed, two bath condo type of person, just to really kind of dive into the cultures there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, enjoy it. What was your biggest takeaway when you went to Brazil about the culture?
Ooh, biggest take. I mean,
Lifestyle.
they Yeah, that's a loaded question for sure because I don't know if I know all of the details in the politics, but that actually just went through like a presidential change, and even going through there and seeing like they have the English word is slums, but they're called favelas there, and it's just like the construction there is just like ridiculously scary and unsafe as far as those areas go because they actually like build mud houses on top of mud houses, and sometimes they're up to like 3 or 4 stories high. And these kind of like off the grid, they're kind of like on the outskirts of the city, and so they don't pay taxes, but they have like basically developed their own like society culture within these areas because they're so big, and they have their own like water and sewer systems that aren't obviously up to like a level of standard that they should be, but like the fact that they're even have that is amazing. Like they have their own like separate schools and stuff, and so it's really eye opening for me to go to different places and see how other people are living. It gives me a lot of gratitude and appreciation for what we have here. I think it's super easy to kind of keep your tunnel vision going here and think that this is the way it is for everyone to have hot water that comes out of a spigot when I turn a handle and to have air conditioning. when it's 100 degrees out, and that's just not the way it is around the rest of the world. And I think having those experiences to travel and really kind of see different places like Brazil or Panama or some of these other places, it kind of really puts life in a better perspective, at least for me, of what I have here, and understanding that, I already have way more than enough that I need. It's not any type of like external materialistic object that's going to bring happiness in my life.
Right. No, and it's interesting how those skills are transferable. Like I know I didn't really do an introduction, of who you are and who I am, but we both know that in project management, the experience that we have, it is transferable, which is so awesome. This whole new wave of people learning about how construction is done, the materials that are used, how the market affects material cost and labor cost. It's been so eye-opening to me to go into other markets and see, how is material moved? Like, what are the logistics costs? What does inflation look like here if you build, 50 homes? How does that impact the community? Like, there's just so much to take in from, how it affects the community.
So what are you seeing here locally? Are you still doing a lot of projects, and how does that look right now for you with the projects you have going on?
Yeah, we wrapped up all of our Chicago projects. I actually have a friend, David, who is working on a huge project in Detroit that I'm going to go look at.
Oh,
He's purchasing multiple homes and flipping and developing entire neighborhoods, and so I'm super super excited to go check that out this next week. And we share a lot of common interests. He's interested in coming to the Chicago market as well. So if there's a synergy there, you will see me back in my home, stomping ground, doing some projects, but working with a team that, is doing big projects like that, and how it's impacting Detroit's market, which is very close to Chicago, and seeing how Detroit is basically, they're just getting out of their recession that they went through, kind of, and now we're going through our recession, and seeing how their market is changing so fast and how the housing market there is just booming. It's very interesting because I went there, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, and it was just like in its baby infancy stages of being built.
what's your what's your number one tip of going into a new market? What's the one thing that people got to look into if they're going to invest in a new market like Detroit or out of the country?
I would say get involved with people who are on hands-on projects that you can look at.
Yeah.
Immediately go and talk to people who are doing something with hands-on that you can explore and learn. Like there's nothing like being in the market and touching and feeling a product, right? We can look at stuff online all day and watch YouTube videos, but going and talking to someone and walking a work site, that's 100% what, you need to do if you want to get a really clear understanding of what does it take to get into this market.
So
Because like
with your friend who's jumping into Detroit and buying, you said hundreds of houses. How are they sourcing these deals? Are they getting them through like the actual city of Detroit? Is there like a land bank like there is here in Chicago, or what's the secret to buying that many properties at once?
So I had asked if he's going through the land bank, and he said no. So some of these, they must be direct homeowners that are selling directly to him. He's got a process and it works. I mean, I'll let you know when I do my research and find out more because I'm interested to know too. Like, how are you getting so many properties?
Yeah,
It's very,
well, how are you getting them? And then I guess like how are you even keeping up with the renovations for so many, right? I mean, that's a daunting task. Is that kind of what you're going to be diving into, or what
yes,
your kind of role is going to be?
yes. So a lot of times when I go into different markets, because project management, it's very across the board, like structure, systems, operation. So I will be going there to see if there's anything that I can do to help improve systems and operation, is also with managing. I'm very big on technology like yourself. I love different softwares that help with team organization, timelines, budgets, material, runs, making sure that things are delivered on time and knowing as much as we can, right? And with technology, we can do that. So working with a team that's managing 25 to 50 plus projects, they need technology to run that. You can't do just spreadsheets anymore. We're beyond that. We're way beyond that.
Do you have some specific project management softwares that you'd recommend to people?
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Buildertrend. It's been my favorite since day one. I've tried a couple other ones. They didn't really seem to have a simple, clean format. Um, I actually used Buildertrend's website to show another company like how to build their website. Like here, it's very clean and simple. Here's the charts. You click here, just like the user experience of the website. It's very easy to learn. As
Hmm.
someone, if they wanted to get into project management, they have a lot of free classes that you can take on their website that you can drop into their workshops, similar to Apple, right? Because we're always improving, always adapting, and you can just hop in there and learn a whole new software. And they break it down to small chunks. So it's like 30 minutes, really quick, fun overview, very interactive, hands on, not overwhelming. I feel like a lot of programs right now with software are just like, it's too much going on at one time, right? They're trying to do 100 different things, but you have to learn one system process at a time.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I always think about these big kind of audacious goals that we have that feel big and audacious, but if we can slowly break them up into smaller chunks, more manageable chunks, it gets easier and easier and easier, and we can kind of build on that snowball to make it bigger and bigger and bigger to get to this big enormous goal that we have. It's actually funny you brought up Buildertrend. We're actually a pretty heavy Buildertrend user, but we're making a switch. To be
Really?
honest, yeah, we're switching to a platform called JobTread, which is a little bit newer. I think they started in like 2021, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But the main reason we're switching is the functionality from estimate to budgeting to invoicing and kind of managing your profit is just very, very clear in that system. Where for us, Buildertrend, there's a lot of clicks you had to make to get to where you wanted to, like within the estimating and proposals feature,
Yes.
where this system basically uh, summarizes all of that information in one kind of like Excel type of format. And you can add and subtract columns as you need. And you can actually make those different views for different types of situations. So you might have an estimating view, you might have a subcontractor bidding view, you might have a overall project management view to manage the profits, you might have an accounting view. That was the big reason we made the switch. The other reason I was super excited is they have like an overall project view where it's like, someone like us or your friend in Detroit, we have, 7, 8, 9, 10 projects going at once. Well, we can actually summarize where all those projects are on one screen. And that was something Buildertrend also didn't offer. And so now we can see, okay, where's this project at with the schedule? Where are these projects at from a cash flow position, and then see that across all of the different projects, and same thing with the documents and the payables and receivables. We're in such a heavy cash in, cash out business that we really have to keep a tight eye on our cash, and it's very easy to lose track of it with
Yes.
so many different jobs. And so I'm actually super, super excited about making this switch, and it's super heavy right now. I have it up on my screen as we speak, trying to figure out the cost codes and the groups and everything. Because if there's ever a time to kind of reinvent things and kind of not reinvent things, but come with a clean slate to a new product, now is the time. And so we're going back and analyzing some of the cost items and cost groups in our catalog is like 1,000 items long, and so we're really trying to hone in and make it as efficient and simple as possible, with also having enough detail to nail the estimates and making sure we're tracking our costs as much as possible.
Awesome. That is really, really wonderful. Do you think that starting with Buildertrend helped you to kind of understand, like even though you say it takes a lot of clicks, like it almost is interactive and teaches you. So for someone who's a beginner, do you think this new software will be just as adaptable for them to kind of learn everything in a chunk, or they're going to have to learn it all at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. For me, it's very intuitive to have everything interconnected. And what I mean by that is with your estimate, you're going to have certain codes for plumbing, for installing fixtures. Well, then that should very clearly translate over to your budget, and then you should be billing out to that exact line item when you go and purchase a faucet. And so Buildertrend started a new thing called job costing, which allowed that, but it just still wasn't as clean to be comparing like your estimate from your actual existing budget. And for me, Buildertrend was also just a bit more rigid in what they would allow you to change. And this other system is like very flexible. They actually have an open API, so you can connect other softwares, which is pretty important to us. And yeah, so I think they all accomplish the same thing at the end of the day, right? To manage your project. It's just for us, the job tread seemed to be a bit more product focused, where Buildertrend seemed to be a bit more sales focused. And I think since we're a general contractor and we have like so many codes, so many different items, we really needed to have the flexibility to have groups within groups in our cost codes. That was a big thing too. Where Buildertrend, you could have one group, but you couldn't have a group within a group. And so for us, like our cost codes, like getting a little granular, our cost code for plumbing, our section is 13, but under 13, we have a 1310, which is plumbing fixtures. And then we have a 1320, which is hot water heaters. And we want to know those specific costs and then have it roll up into the overall group code. And
Right.
so some of that functionality and flexibility wasn't there with Buildertrend. And that to us is a little more important than how it looks to the client. I think the client facing side of Buildertrend is actually a lot better. But for us, like we want to be able to manage a project first. And then if we can give our client a better user interface, that's great too. But we want to make sure that it has our software as the project management systems and processes that are going to help us be the best general contractor possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. You always have to be looking at and trying different trials. I think I had looked at the software. There was another one that I had looked at, and it just wasn't quite there yet.
Was there another one
I
called CoConstruct maybe?
Yeah, CoConstruct. I had checked them out. They had just kind of got started, and I told them that I was with Buildertrend. I was like, well, I really like these user capabilities. Like we're into everything customized and modified right now, where we're so used to being able to take what we like and take, and move things around. I really like the fact that you're talking about this new software is giving you options to add those subgroups, because I agree with you. It's very important. And people who are doing new houses or new builds or 203K renovations where they want to buy and renovate it and live in it, they need the ability to put those very specific details in for the lender to get the most money out of that loan, so that they can, get their dream house and get those details that they want in that project completed.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah, so that's
The
exciting.
203K and the home style, we do a lot of those renovation loans, and the format they have for like their BOR, the bill of repairs, is even archaic in itself. But what we're probably going to do, actually, I wrote down my ideas tab, was we're going to set up a specific groups for the 203K in the home
Mhm.
style, because they have
Yeah.
specific numbers that align to their system. So we're going to have a specific project type for those projects. So that way it aligns perfectly with those systems, just because it'll make it quite a bit easier.
No, that's great. That is really, really, really great. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to hop off because I got another call right at noon. Any other kind of parting words you want to share with anyone who's hopping on
Um, I would just
line?
say anyone that's looking to get into, investing or project management, I would highly recommend checking out the Chicago Housing Symposium coming up in
Oh,
September. I will be talking about project management. I'm going to do a whole presentation for you all, and I will be talking about some of the things that I talked about today with Jonathan. And it will be very helpful for people that are looking for an adaptable career that's growing, as well as the skill sets that they need if they want to renovate their own property. There's not really many projects out there that are talking about the things that Jonathan and I are discussing today in depth. And a lot of this might go over like new beginners' heads, But what we're talking about is important. It does affects your bottom line of your budget of what you're going to be spending. So, I want to encourage you guys to get in the room, learn with experts like Jonathan and, myself, get in some of those workshops with Buildertrend, or these other, programs that you can start learning hands-on experience. That's all I can suggest. And I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday coming up for almost gone, Thanksgiving, for 4th of July, and enjoy the weekend, hopefully on the lake or something fun with the family.
All right. And so that was the Chicago Housing Symposium. When is it? And like what time? Where would someone register?
Yeah, you can just Google Chicago Housing Symposium, and it's going to be 2024 September. And they have a whole 2 days, I believe, full of workshops. So there's going to be workshops on different topics. Mine is not yet confirmed of what time and date, but I just am giving you guys the heads up to keep an eye out for it. I'll be
Awesome.
posting.
All right, Natalie. Well, let's make sure we don't wait another 2 years to reconnect. And hopefully, if you or anyone else has any projects coming up that we can help renovate, you'll think of us.
Absolutely. We will.
All right. Thanks, Natalie. Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye, Jonathan.